Hey everybody, it's me Carlitos here again, and today I'm reviewing Public Enemies.
Public Enemies, rated R.
The movie is directed by Michael Mann, the great director who brought us the classics The Last of the Mohicans and two great crime classics, Collateral and Heat, which is of course one of the greatest crime films of all time, and now he brings us Public Enemies. So, does the newest one live up to his fame? Let's check it out.
What is it exactly you do for a living?
John Dillinger. I love banks.
The movie follows gangster John Dillinger, this time played by Johnny Depp, in the height of the golden age of the era of robbing banks during the Great Depression. So, you watch John Dillinger as he makes some great bank robberies, some great escapes, as he's being chased by Melvin Purvis, one of the men from the FBI who's in charge of the Chicago district. And the movie follows how Melvin Purvis chases John Dillinger, but John Dillinger seems to be escaping his hands every time, until finally, Melvis ends John Dillinger's life. So, that's pretty much the synopsis of the movie. Anything more than that, you'll have to look up on your own. Of course, I didn't spoil anything because it's a biopic. You can look it up online and see exactly what happened. I will say this though, as far as biopics go, this is one of the more exciting ones out there. Kind of like Cinderella Man was exciting even though you already knew what happened, and Apollo 13 was exciting even though you knew what happened. This is one of those that, although you know what's going to happen, I knew it was going to happen at the end, but I was still on the edge of my seat, and the end still blew me away. So you guys out there, wondering, probably mad at me because I gave away the ending a little bit, don't worry, you'll still be in shock and awe at the end of the movie. It's great, you'll love it, I just know you will, especially if you're a gangster fan. You'll love this movie. Now, going into the actors, so the movie does feature Johnny Depp as John Dillinger, and of course Melvin Purvis is played by the great Christian Bale. And then there's Marion Cotillard playing John Dillinger's girlfriend, Billy Frechette. Now, all three actors shine on the screen very well. Christian Bale just nails down the role as Melvin Purvis. He doesn't try to bring, to upstage Johnny Depp in any way. He's just there to do what he has to do, which is kind of a nervous guy. The guy doesn't really know what he's doing. But it's really great to see because, after watching Christian Bale and Terminator and him yelling a lot, and especially even in Batman where he's the main star of the show, it's kind of nice to see him kind of take a little back seat a little bit, just a tad, and let Johnny Depp shine instead. It's really great to see. He nails the role down really well. Basically what's really great is he doesn't turn into a yeller, like I said. Now, Johnny Depp just nails the role of John Dillinger. I loved him as John Dillinger. He was great. He plays the Robin Hood of the movie, because that's basically what he was for the time. He robbed banks at a time when everybody else hated banks. So nailing down that role was probably easy to do in a way, but to do it in a way where people will most remember it is a whole different gig, and Johnny Depp was able to nail it. Marion Cotillard as Billy Frechette is great also. In the beginning, you're kind of into her, but that's because you just met her, whereas Purvis, you already have some history, and especially with Dillinger. So her character's kind of built from scratch because she's not well known. But also Marion Cotillard nails that role. She doesn't also try to become the annoying girlfriend saying, "No, John, no, don't go." She just there as the girlfriend, and she accepted what her husband did, or not husband, really boyfriend did at the time, and went with the flow. She loved him by the end. I loved in the beginning though how she didn't like him at all in the beginning of the movie, and then it took John Dillinger's character to kind of romance her a little bit, and Marion Cotillard just was able to fit into that so well. Marion Cotillard could have easily just made the character just really annoying. It made her just seem like the clean girlfriend, or just, change lines, stuff like that, making her very stereotypical. But she decided not to. She decided to play her more realistic, in my opinion. I don't know if anybody else agrees, but I think she's more realistic. Now, although Christian Bale, Marion Cotillard, and of course Johnny Depp are the three main stars of the movie, there's some other great actors on screen that do not see the show, but are there just to as supporting actors, support the piece, and delve into the world of John Dillinger. These actors include the great David Wenham, Jason Clarke, Stephen Dorff, Channing Tatum, Rory Cochrane, Billy Crudup, and Giovanni Ribisi, and Stephen Graham. Now, you may be asking yourself, who cares about these supporting actors? Some of their roles are so small and so short that after that you never see them again, and in fact you don't remember them at all. Well, the thing is, in most movies, when you have these small little roles, the actor put in them doesn't really care. In fact, he just shows up on a set the day, learns his lines on the day and does it, and then leaves. And then you can notice it on the screen because his lines will be so bad or it'll be different from everyone else's that it makes you fall out of the movie in a way. These actors don't do that. These actors are pros. So they put all their effort into that, as much as Johnny Depp, Christian Bale, Marion Cotillard put in there. They learned the accents, they learned the walks, they did their research, and they nailed their little roles down. That's pretty much the proper way to use star power instead of like other movies like such as Transformers 2 where they use Tyrese and that other guy to kind of just, and they gave him like all these useless scenes. So you got pretty bored with them. They were just there just to add star power. In this case, they do add star power in a way, but not enough to where they just put random scenes in there with them. They're in there for a reason, and they take these little roles and they do their thing. They do their thing very well. They do their job extremely well, and I love them for it. Because it kept me in the movie, kept me engaged at all times. Now, cinematography, of course, is a signature of Michael Mann's. Because ever since he did the movie Collateral, really, you know, he uses both film and DVs to shoot the movie. And you could tell in some of the scenes of the movie because I quickly switch from film to DV, and you can tell from the background suddenly see brighter than usual. And I mean, it works very well because I mean, suddenly you're putting a more realistic approach suddenly with DV because you see more in touch with the character. He seems a lot more realistic suddenly. But then also you kind of sacrifice some style, which he knows that. So in certain scenes he just goes for film instead. He switches back and forth in some of the action sequences, which is great. And the movie looks beautiful still, nonetheless. Alright, just like the way Collateral looked beautiful. It looks just as beautiful as that movie. Alright. And of course, this is helped by the costume design of the movie and the set pieces. Everything just emerges with 1933. There is no slacking off. Like, most movies, they'll just kind of put the cars in the foreground, kind of like they did in the movie Find Me Guilty, where they put the 80s cars in the foreground, and in the background you can see the 2000 cars back there, like the newest minivans like that, and you're like, what? In this one, they go all the way with them. In some cases, they even destroy some of these cars, and you're like, wow. The music is also great for the movie. I love the soundtrack for the movie. It's great. It gets you right in the movie. It gets you in the mindset of just bank robbing in a way. But there is one complaint. That's not really the music, but more of the sound of the movie, the soundtrack. Now, I can't believe this is actually a complaint of mine because I've never made this complaint before. And that's the complaint of sound mixing. I think the filmmakers, I mean, just Michael Mann should have really held back the movie a little longer to work on the sound mixing because at some points the movie seemed really low, at some points it seemed really high. But one big problem was with the sound mixing of the soundtrack itself for the music. Because suddenly, you know, you're blasting these music suddenly. You see this guy walking, he's about to go talk to somebody. In most movies, they crossfade it very well, gradually. In this one, it's just a sudden dip. And you're like, what the hell was that? And that kind of dropped me from the movie a little bit because I noticed it. Now, that's probably one of the only real complaint of the whole movie. Everything else was spot on. The story, like I said, was very engaging. I took my little brother to see the movie. He finally seems to be a little slow towards the end. That's because he didn't really do any research on John Dillinger. I was a big John Dillinger fan, so I found these scenes even engaging myself. He found it a bit slow. So, you know, you guys may find that different than I did. But I loved it nonetheless. I give the movie a 9 out of 10. It's a great movie overall. The sound mixing really made me drop out of the movie a little bit, so that's really why I couldn't give it a perfect score, because that sound mixing just really just kind of killed the few moments for me. Other than that, the movie is great. Cinematography is great. The script is great. Although my brother did find it to be a bit slow. I'm a big John Dillinger fan. I'm a big crime fan to be right. I mean, I love crime movies, so I still found the story very engaging each and every scene. Now, I mean, everything's great. The actors are great. You guys will love the actors on the screen. They're just terrific. If you're a big crime fan, you love Heat, you love Collateral, and you even love Goodfellas, you like anything crime, you're going to love this movie. It's spot on great. Alright? Now, if you don't like crime movies, then I suggest you don't watch this movie because you might be a little bored. This is definitely Johnny Depp's best performance overall. I haven't liked him this much in a movie in a long time. Alright? Like I said, if you're not a big crime fan, you're going to hate this movie. I mean, guys, this is really more of a guy movie, so I can't really see you taking your girlfriends down there to see this one. They might not be as interested as you are. But still, nonetheless, I give the movie a 9 out of 10. It's a great movie overall, and you guys should really check it out. One of the best movies of the year that I've seen so far. Really is. Not a disappointment at all. Great movie overall. Check it out, guys, alright?
Public Enemies, rated R, in theaters July 1st.
Well, that's it for my review of Public Enemies. Like I said, check it out, guys. This is Carlitos signing off, saying I like baseball, fast cars, good clothes, and you. What else you need to know?